His eyes awaken, but take a few seconds to adjust to the light. In confusion, the boy rubs his eyes and reaches for his glasses, lying on the table next to him, and puts them on. He sees that he's lying in a hospital bed with a multitude of items lying at the foot of it. Get well soon cards sit next to him, along with candies, sweets, and chocolate frogs. He's flushed with excitement. Before he can process it all in, an old man wearing a robe with a big beard and glasses walks through the door to his bed. The old man says with a soft and modulated voice, "Good afternoon, Harry," and delight floods the boy's eyes. This was taken directly from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. In this scene, a young boy named Harry wakes up in a hospital bed in Hogwarts wondering in his head what's going on. Dumbledore, the headmaster of Hogwarts, walks in to check in on Harry and be there to support him. Dumbledore is someone who always keeps his eye on Harry throughout the whole film. Someone who could answer his questions, someone who could provide valuable wisdom for him, and someone who could challenge him to build his character. Considering the crazy roller coaster that Harry had just been on, this is what he needed the most. And it's what we need as well. This scene is analogous to the relationship I've had with my mentor. Here he is. His name's Bob. And he's like a Dumbledore to me, and I'm like a Harry to him. As a college student, I felt like a small kid who's been on this grand adventure, working towards a degree, towards a family, and towards change. But no one to hold me accountable. I've grown up with this attitude that I must figure out this enigma alone. And I didn't want to admit that I needed someone in my life to help. Someone who could answer my questions, someone who could provide valuable wisdom for me, and someone who could challenge me to build my character. I believe many of us can relate to this. Life is hard and we want to fight through it, but we don't want to admit how much accountability we actually need to help us through. Rest assured that none of you are alone in this. I'm there too. As of now, I'm about 2 months into a mentorship with Bob, and it's been a fantastic adventure. Over the course of a couple of months, my life has slowly begun to change. And maybe yours can too. Well, okay, Cam. How can my life possibly change from having a Dumbledore? Well, one way a Dumbledore can change our lives is by pointing out the small, unnoticed food stuck in our teeth that's clearly there, but we can't see it. Here's what I mean. I struggle with making wise decisions and thinking about the effects that result from those decisions. One day while I was meeting with my mentor, I didn't even have to bring this up. It just came up during the conversation. He said to me, "Just make a decision. If it was a bad choice, it was a bad choice. So what? If it was stupid, apologize for it and ask for forgiveness." This is something I needed to hear. And so one of those decisions happened recently when I was planning on meeting up for breakfast with my pastor from church. Before I met with him, my roommate had been clearly sick, and it was most likely COVID. With that in mind, I had to choose whether or not I should meet up with my pastor. Well, my foolish self chose to meet up with him, and I practically ignored the situation that I was in. So as I'm sitting with my pastor, I receive a text. And I look at my watch and I see COVID and positive pop up for my roommate. Oh no. Oh shoot. Oh no. I've been exposed to COVID and I'm sitting in this booth with my pastor. I return home and the guilt is eating me alive. And so I'm like, okay, I made a stupid decision with meeting with him, so I could either ignore it or I could confess to him the truth. It was a tough decision to make, but I came clean and confessed to him the truth. If I hadn't told him, he could have gone on to unknowingly spread COVID to other people and affect their health. Since he knew about the situation, he then could take countermeasures to prevent the spread of the disease. He quickly forgave me, which brought me great relief. From discussing with my mentor, he was able to point out a small area of my life that I didn't realize I had trouble with, and it challenged my character. And you all could be experiencing this too, but it involves a process. Even the entire process of finding a Dumbledore can change our lives. Coming into the semester, I was very bad at having goals and achieving them. A lot of us could probably relate with that. I didn't know how to set them, and I didn't stay committed to them. So this gave me an opportunity to really grow in that area, like many of us can too. From simply having a desire for a mentor, I was able to change how I set goals differently. The process of finding a mentor consisted of a process that I like to call the triple dub method. Why, who, and where. Why do I want to mentor? Who is the type of person I want to find that matches my reasoning? And where can I go to find this person that would match up with the prior two W's? Reflecting on these questions helped me find a mentor, and they can for you too. So why did I seek a Dumbledore? Well, I've been a Christian for roughly 2 years now, and there's still so much I don't know. I don't know how to effectively read the Bible and apply it to the world, school, and work. I don't know how much God loves me at times. I don't know how to be intentional very well. And I don't know every way to love and serve my friends and family. I'm not an expert in life. So I sought a Dumbledore who could provide wisdom in those areas based on a biblical foundation to walk me through the process. Now, who did I want to find? For me, a mentor was someone who was a genuine Christian in the faith and had raised his family with a biblical foundation, which is completely opposite to how I grew up. I grew up in a household where Jesus wasn't followed genuinely, including by myself. And my family wasn't raised on the solid foundation of the Bible. So that motivated me to seek a man who did trust Jesus with his life and be able to learn from him and help me grow in our relationship with Jesus. So where do I even look? The first obvious place to me was my local church. So I set a goal to ask the head pastor at the church about a mentor. With hope and trust, I was able to approach the head pastor about the idea. He told me that he would speak to the elders to see if anyone would be available. And I was immensely relieved. This could be it, I thought. But after about a week, I hadn't received any updates from my church, which brought me great discouragement. I thought maybe they had forgotten about it, or that maybe there was no one able to mentor me. Finally, after some waiting, the next Sunday, the pastor came up to me and said they didn't really have anyone available. And this was disappointing for me. So about a month went by as the idea collected dust on the shelf. I went on with school as normal and did homework, studied for tests, and read books. I felt defeated during this stage. Every day I would see that goal on my whiteboard stare at me in the face, and I would quickly look away from the loss of hope. Then, this lovely day in October rolled around when this happened. I'm sitting in my room, having a conversation with my roommate, Zach. We were in the midst of talking, and he poured out these words that tasted oh so sweet. He said to me, "Well, Cam, my dad could possibly mentor you. I know he's mentored someone before in his life, and I'm sure he'd enjoy it with you." Bingo. I took my goal right off the shelf, dusted her off, and held it with me. After almost 2 months of seeking some wisdom, she had finally called. I had learned how to set a specific goal, pursue it, and continue trusting that God would answer. Without Bob, I wouldn't have noticed these things and grown in the process. He's been a great Dumbledore. Now, do you have a Dumbledore in your life? A lot of us students need to admit that we're like Harry in our lives, and we need a Dumbledore. We don't know everything about what life has to offer, but we can seek someone who's farther ahead. So, I challenge all of you to go out and find a Dumbledore. Ponder reasons why you might need one, and analyze who could fit the criteria, and investigate areas where you could find one. Someone who can answer your questions, someone who can provide valuable wisdom for you, and someone who can challenge you to build your character. Thank you.